to the Board of Trustees of the Marikina Polytechnic College present here today, other college officials, non-teaching staff, and personnel and employees of the college, to the students, of course, of the Marikina Polytechnic College in attendance today, other guests and friends, ladies and gentlemen, magandang umaga sa inyo na. Maraming salamat sa napakainit na salubong na ibinigay niyo sa akin sa aking pagdating dito sa MPC. Alam niyo, malaking bagay sa akin bilang inyong halal na lingkod bayan ang makapiling ang ating mga kabataan, lalo na ang mga mag-aaral ng ating mga kolehiyo at universidad upang may bahagi sa inyo ang aming mga tinatalakay sa Senado ukol sa ilan sa mga mahalagang issue ng ating bansa. Pinasasalamatan ko ang buong Marikina Polytechnic College family dahil sa inyong interes at pagiging bukas loob sa pagtatalakay sa Bangsamoro Basic Law o ang tinatawag ngayon na BBL. Sadyang napakahalaga kasi ng panukalang batas na ito dahil sa kanyang magiging epekto hindi lamang sa ating mga kapatid na Muslim, sa Muslim Mindanao, o hindi pati rin sa buong bansa. Pero huwag kayo sanang kabahan sa aking pagdalo rito. At sinisiguro ko na walang anumang karagdagang pagsusulit o kaakibat na ang inyong pagdalo sa ating talakayan sa umagang ito. Alam ko naman, kakatapos lamang ninyo ng midterm exams. At baka pagod pa ang inyong mga pag-iisip dahil ang puspusong pag-aaral at puro kalyo na ang inyong mga daliri sa kakasagot ng mga katanungan sa inyong examination. Ayoko naman dumagdag pa sa stress ninyo pag dinadaanan dito sa eskwelahan. Yan ang trabaho, hindi ko trabaho yun. Trabaho yan ng mga profesor ninyo. Lalo na yung mga profesor na alam natin mga terror. Mukhang meron talaga kayong tinutukoy pag-usapan ng terror. Anyway, as diligent college students, I believe that you are the mature and sharp group, not to mention the most receptive, to gain some valuable lessons and insights from upon this important public issue, ranging from our constitutional system and our form of government to the interplay of the branches of government and the political forces involved in this proposed legislation and proposed shift in our government policy. You may have learned in the news that the modified version or the substitute bill to the Bangsamoro Basic Law is now being deliberated in Congress. Sa katunayan, 6 na senador na ang tumayo upang ako ay tanungin at usisain ang bagong BBL na aking isinumiti sa kanila. At 10 pa ang nakapila. Sa hirap at lalim ng mga katanungan ng aking mga kasamahan, pakiramdam ko tuloy ay ako ay isang estudyante muli na katulad ninyo na kailangan i-defend mabuti ang aking thesis para makapasa at makagraduate. Pero unang-una, pag-usapan natin, ano ba talaga itong BBL? I hope that you are all aware of a basic Philippine constitutional principle that certain parts of Mindanao are declared to be on a different political status in relation to the national government and also in comparison with our other local government units, say for example the city of Marikina. The specific area in Muslim Mindanao has been recognized under Article 10 of the Constitution as an autonomous region alongside the Cordillera region. In essence, they are a group of local government units which share a common and distinctive historical and cultural heritage. Ibig sabihin, may kasarinlan sila. But note, however, that the concept of autonomy is essentially and substantially different from independence. Malaking bagay yan. That difference will come up over and over again in this discussion. So while they may be viewed as autonomous, they are not independent from the Philippines. Right now, this certain part of Muslim Mindanao is called by the legal description of the autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao, or simply, yung inyong siguro madalas na marinig, yung ARM. The grant of their autonomy has been enfleshed in a law enacted by Congress. We had Republic Act 6734 in 1989, and then Republic Act 9054 in 2001. Para sa inyong kaalaman, ang Cordillera Region wala pa. Despite two attempts to operationalize its autonomy in 1990 and again in 1998, parehong hindi sumang-ayon ang mga tao sa mga plebisito noon. Hindi natin nakamit ang kanilang matamis na oo ng taong bayan. Sa Muslim Mindanao naman, ikatlong pagkakataon na ito na ang BBL ay babalik-balikan at aayusin natin na ang kasarinlan ng rehiyon na ito. To put it in proper perspective, BBL, we as an entire nation are now trying to negotiate through BBL this grant of autonomy to the ARM. During the previous legislations, it was the Moro National Liberation Front that stood as the negotiator for the ARM. Ngayon naman, ang Moro Islamic Liberation Front, or MILF, ang kausap ng ating pamahalaan. At sa halip na ARM ang kanilang gustong itawag sa kanilang autonomous region, ang tawag ngayon ay Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. In doing all this, we must be governed and guided by the framework of our constitutional democracy. Hence, we have to follow the rules and precepts ordained by our Constitution. To recall what you have learned in your political science, the form of government that is ordained and authorized under our 1987 Constitution is a so-called unitary, presidential, and republican system of government. On the national level, we have the executive department, we have the legislative and the judicial departments, all independent constitutional bodies. On the local level, we have what are called the territorial and political subdivisions of our country, or our local government units. Again, our most obvious example is the city of Marikina. These LGUs also enjoy local autonomy, but not to the degree allowed for by the ARM and the Cordilleras. Notwithstanding the grant of autonomy under the law, the President still has the power of general supervision over both the LGUs and the autonomous regions. Dahil sila pa ay bahagi ng Republika ng Pilipinas, kaya kahit autonomous region na sila, sumasailalim pa rin sa ating Pangulo, sumasailalim pa rin sa ating national government. Because of the primacy of the Constitution, the BBL, both in its substance and in its procedure, for its enactment, must follow certain basic principles of the Constitution. And let me enumerate those basic principles of the Constitution. Number one, the agreement between the MILF and the government of the Philippines does not bind the entire Philippine government. Kung maalala ninyo, meron ng mga naging kasunduan sa pagitan ng MILF at saka ng GPH. Sa katunayan, ito ang nagbunsod ng tinaguriang original draft ng BBL. But we have to understand, however, that the agreements do not bind Congress. Neither do they bind the Supreme Court, much less the entire country. Even if you see the acronym GPH giving the impression that it covers the entire Philippine government, you must not be misled and should rather remember that it only covers and binds the executive department of the President or Malacanang only. Anyway, it is our President who claimed that the ARM was a failed experiment, and this is the reason that was given kung bakit natin ginagawa lahat ito. Bakit importante? Bakit kailangan natin pag-usapan ang commitment ng ating pamahalaan? Dahil marami tayong naririnig ng mga statement, lalo na galing sa MILF, na sinasabi, meron na silang usapan. Meron na silang usapan sa ating pamahalaan, nagpirmahan na raw sila ng Pangulo, ibig sabihin, ang buong gobyerno dapat sumunod na. Well, this is a mistaken idea dahil this only applies to international treaties. Ang Pangulo ang siyang namamahala ng ating tinatawag na foreign policy. At kung makipagpirmahan ng ating Pangulo sa isang Pangulo rin or head of state ng isang bansa, talagang iyan ay isang international treaty na kasama lahat ng buong Pilipinas. At tayo ay dahil pumirma ng ating Pangulo. Ngunit ito ay sa international treaty sa gitna ng dalawang tinatawag na sovereign nation, dalawang bansa. And that is why when we say foreign policy is under the President, once the President commits the entire Republic to an agreement, then that agreement applies to everyone in the government as policy. Ngayon, ang problema dito sa sitwasyon sa MILF, hindi sila bansa, hindi sila sovereign nation. Kaya hindi ito international treaty, ito lamang ay isang peace agreement sa gitna ng government of the Philippines at ng MILF, isang rebelding grupo. Ngayon, kung ganoon ang sitwasyon, ibig sabihin, kailangan pa rin para ma-implementa ang ating peace agreement, ay kailangan na magkaroon ng isang batas para sa batas na ito ay pinapaliwanag at ginagawa yung bagong gobyerno, we define the territory, yung mga functions ng iba't ibang opisina ng kanilang bagong pamahalaan. That is the subject of this BBL. Ito na yung BBL to operationalize the peace agreement. Ngunit, ang importanteng punto rito, hindi ito international agreement. Kaya kailangan pa rin dumaan sa Kongreso at kailangan pa rin dumaan sa judiciary kung sakali man. Number 2, another point that we must follow in the Constitution. Congress, through the power of lawmaking, not only has the authority to enact the MILF-GPH original draft of the BBL, but also the power to change its terms and to make it faithful and amenable to the provisions of the Constitution and to ensure the balanced and inclusive development of our country and of the people. In school, we have all learned that under our Constitution, Congress is the lawmaking body, not the President. Ibig sabihin, kailangan mo nang talagang dumaan sa Kongreso itong BBL, itong draft basic law, bago ito'y magiging ganap na batas. Anuman ang nilalaman ng original na BBL at anuman ang napagkasunduan ng GPH at MILF. Pero ang naging problema, ang naging malaking problema, na lumabas sa aming mga naging pagdinig sa Senado at marami pa na sa provision ng BBL ay labag sa saligang batas. Many of the provisions in the draft BBL as given to us by the President were found to be unconstitutional. Kaya ang aking ginawa ay minabuti kong humingi ng isang pauna at pampaganang lecture o sermon mula sa aming dalubhasa sa Senado sa saligang batas, si Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago. Ang ginawa ni Senator Miriam ay inimbitahan niya ang mga magagaling at matikinig ng mga utak sa saligang batas na pag-aralan ang draft BBL. At kung ito nga ay naaayon sa ating saligang batas. Sa kasawiang palad, ipinagtibay ng report ni Senator Miriam na ang aming unang hinala na labag talaga sa konstitusyon ang draft BBL. Ika nga ng sikat na libro niya, Stupid is Forever. Ang gusto raw di umano ng BBL ay gawing isang state within a state o isang sovereign state ang tinaguriang Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. It has all the elements of a state under the Montevideo Convention. Number 1, a permanent population. Number 2, a defined territory. Number 3, a capacity to enter into relations with other states. So we had to make sure that the Bangsamoro proposal would not turn arm into a state within a state. The national and territorial integrity of the Philippines should be preserved and should be protected. The Bangsamoro proposal should not contain provisions leading to opportunities for secession or breaking away. The matter of defense, security, peace and order in the Bangsamoro region should always remain with the national government. I also have to make sure that provisions leading to normalcy and a more stable peace and order in the area were contained in my substitute bill. I fully agree that peace and development in Muslim Mindanao are as much the primary objectives of the BBL as the grant of enhanced autonomy to the region. Hence, we included provisions on the so-called normalization of communities and, most importantly, the decommissioning of forces. Ibig sabihin nito, kapalit at kasabay na dapat ng mas malawak na autonomiya o kasarinlan ay meron dapat kaakibat na mas taus-pusong pagtitigil sa pakikipaglaban sa gobyerno, pagbababa ng kanilang mga armas at paglalansa ng mga armadong grupo. We have to disarm, literally and figuratively, so that this portion of our people who are so used to or so steeped in a culture of arms bearing, of fighting, of killing. The enactment of the BBL is also a time for our brothers and sisters to lay down arms, to replace them with plows, with tools of trade, with books, computers, and other wholesome and more potent materials of creation, not of destruction, and all the other building blocks of social development and progress. In fact, these were some of the valuable lessons we have learned from the Mama Sapanot massacre in January of this year. We are able to appreciate the importance of achieving lasting peace in Mindanao. We were taught about the virtue of trust. Remember that the MILF was involved in this deadly skirmish. The very same group, the very same organization that our government has been exclusively talking to and negotiating with in the past several years about, quite ironically, the quest for a just and lasting peace in Mindanao. It is just very unfortunate that it had to take the lives of 44 brave policemen, all killed in the line of duty, fighting for the cause of peace and against global terrorism, for us to be reminded of these important goals. But at the very least, we were greatly comforted by the thought that our fallen 44 had given their lives not only for the single valiant purpose of bringing fugitives to justice, but for more important and transcendental reasons, that of revealing imperfections and weaknesses in the peace process in Muslim Mindanao. That is why in my sponsorship speech for the substitute bill that I filed in the Senate, I deemed it prudent and made it a point to pay tribute to the memory of our fallen 44. May they forever be remembered by our truly grateful nation. The third item of the feature of the Constitution which we must also remember is the Supreme Court's power of judicial review and authority to declare a law unconstitutional. the Supreme Court has the power to adjudge whether or not a law, any law, not only the BBL, not only the substitute bill, but any law, if it is challenged in the Supreme Court, upon studying that law, can make a judgment as to whether or not it is consistent with the Constitution or not. And that is the power that the Supreme Court gives. Siyempre, kailangan namin pag-aralan mabuti sa Kongreso ang BBL na ito hanggang sa kanyang pinakamaliliit at detalyading mga nakatagong epekto. Hindi pwede tayo basta para-para, pasok natin dito. Hindi pwedeng bahala na si Batman. Ang ganyang klaseng mentalidad. Mas lalong hindi pwede, rock and roll to the world, lamang ang ating gagawin. Kasi, alam naman natin, andyan ang Supreme Court sa Manila na siya nakabantay at nakaabang sa ilalabas na batas ng Kongreso. At naghihintay sa anuman magiging reklamo ng kahit sinong mamamayan na ang BBL ay labag sa ating konstitusyon. If we in Congress do not do our job properly, all the painstaking work that has gone before would just end up being another subcuse target of a petition by a concerned and well-meaning Filipino taxpayer for certiorari and prohibition with the Supreme Court on the ground of unconstitutionality. If the BBL were to emanate from Congress, and the version that will finally be approved were to be eventually stricken down by the Supreme Court as unconstitutional, what happens? Would it mean that it is the end of the road for the proponents? If the proponents are really bent on passing the BBL in the exact shape and form as drafted by the PANAS and the MILF, then there will be no other recourse but to have to conduct a common assembly to study whether or not we should have constitutional amendments. This essentially boils down to having the rest of the Philippines adjust its systems so that it can coincide with the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. The entire Philippines will change its constitution just to accommodate the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. And ang lagi kong naiisip na there's a phrase in English which always comes to mind when we think about this idea of the Constitution being amended just to accommodate one government, one local government. And that phrase is, it sounds to me like it is the tail wagging the dog, not the other way around. As of this time, we are in the stages of interpolations and amendments of the substitute BBL. Ano yung substitute BBL? Ang ginawa ko ay nung nakuha ko at pinag-aralan namin, nagkaroon kami ng hearing, pinag-aralan namin ang laman ng draft BBL, pinag-usapan namin ng mga consultant natin, ng mga eksperto, hindi lamang sa batas, kung hindi sa negosyo, kundi tungkol sa mga IPs, tungkol sa mga sultanates, tungkol sa kasaysayan ng Muslim Mindanao. At sa nakuha nating informasyon, at sa nakuha nating mga input galing sa mga iba't ibang sektor dito sa Muslim Mindanao, ay nakita natin kung ano ang mga kailangan gawin para unang-una maging constitutional, maging consistent sa constitution natin. Ng pangalawa, na maging maliwanag ang ating magiging batas. At pangatlo, na maging inclusive. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng mga apektado na tinatawag na stakeholders ay kinausap at kinonsulta. Dahil ang naging problema sa proseso na ginawa ng ating pamahalaan ay walang kinausap na iba kundi MILF. Kaya lahat ng makikita ninyo sa draft BBL ay para sa MILF lang yan. Wala siya sa MNLF, wala para sa Kristiyano, wala para sa IPs, wala para sa mga sultan. Lahat yan ay sinantabi at hindi na kinausap. Kaya sabi namin may pagkukulang itong draft BBL. Sa lahat ng dapat namin na aming natutunan at sa deliberasyon ng aking committee, ginawa namin lahat ng amendment na sa palagay namin ay kailangan gawin sa draft BBL. At ito ang final ko sa Senado, ito ang tinatawag na substitute bill. kapalit ng draft BBL. Kaya doon sa amin, sa House of Representatives at saka sa Senado, hindi na napapag-usapan ng BBL. Wala na yung BBL dahil wala talagang pag-asang pumasa sa House of Representatives, walang pag-asang pumasa sa Senado. Kaya ang ginawa namin itong substitute bill, ang tawag ngayon namin dyan, is the Basic Law on the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region or BL-BAR. At yan ang tinatalakay ngayon, yan ang aming ginagawa. So at this point, in our legislative process, we are in the stages of interpolation and amendments of the substitute BBL bill in Congress. We do this to further refine and improve the BL-BAR before it is finally brought to the floor for voting and for passage into law. Presidential approval is to be expected in all probability since it is the President that is behind the proposal to begin with. But even so, after the President signs the law into a Republic Act, the law shall ultimately be laid down before the affected people of Muslim Mindanao for their ratification at a plebiscite, wherein all of the inhabitants of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region will answer the question, do you approve of the basic law for Bangsamoro Autonomous Region? These are the peaceful, unifying, and constitutional ways of doing it. In the name of peace, let all this be done. Hindi tayo papayag na imadali. Hindi tayo papayag na mag-shortcut. We will not allow it to be railroaded, not with threats of violence, not with threats of war. I have worked hard and I have sacrificed some for this proposed legislation to reach this stage. Just a few weeks ago, we found, nalaman namin na siguro, meron siguro ayaw sa ginagawa namin ay pinaputukan yung aming opisina doon sa Rojas Boulevard. At nakahanap kami ng butas ng bala, nahanap pa naman namin yung bala. But sa tagal ko naman dito sa trabahong ito, hindi naman siguro nasanay na ako sa ganyang klaseng pangyayari at hindi naman tayo natataranta, hindi tayo natatakot. I am not rattled, I am not shaken. Ganun man kahirap, tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang trabaho na ito. I will do everything to make sure that all the hard work will not be put to waste or set at naught, especially on the mere whims and caprices of these sinister and unseen forces working and weaving their way behind in the background. Your humble public servant assures our youth and our posterity that as an elected representative of the Filipino people entrusted with the life and the future of our nation, I will continue the valiant struggles of our patriots by ensuring that the sovereignty and territorial integrity of our country is kept intact and respected by all, and that our people continue to be united by a common aspiration for genuine and lasting peace, for order, for justice, and development not only in Mindanao, but in the entire country as well. Makakaasa kayong lahat sa aking pangako na ako na mga mahal na mag-aaral, hindi natin pababayaan ito at hindi tayo matatakot basta alam natin na tama ang ating ginagawa. I hope that in this short exchange that we will have today, you will be able to pick up some lessons about our topic this morning because of its sheer importance to our life as a nation and to our lives as a Filipino people, especially to you, our young people. As the future of our great land, you shall be inheriting the country and the society that we, your progenitors and forebears, are now shaping and molding, and the peace that we are trying to establish in your behalf. What we are doing now is nothing less than history in the making. By your active involvement and your insights in the national dialogue, you can also be part of this process of writing this particular chapter of Philippine history. So I urge you to be involved in your own way as youthful, exuberant, dynamic, and proactive students. I also humbly ask for your support, your patience, and your understanding. And on that note, let me bring this to an end. My dear students, marami na ako masyadong nakwento. Gusto kong marinig ang inyong mga magiging tanong tungkol dito sa subject natin na ito. Thank you very much for your time and attention. Mabuhay ang NPC. Mabuhay ang Lungsod ng Marikina. Maraming salamat at magandang umaga sa inyo.